In this NeuroSolutions tip box, we will be demonstrating how quick and easy it is to generate C++ source code for a recall-only network in NeuroSolutions. NeuroSolutions supports deploying your neural network for use in the application in two different ways. For most applications, the Custom Solution Wizard is the preferred method of encapsulating a neural network since it produces a Windows-based DLL that is royalty-free, easy to use, and can be accessed from applications written in C++, Visual Basic, Excel, Access, and even ASP web pages. The developer's level of NeuroSolutions provides the ability to generate ANSI C++ code which can be compiled directly into external applications. This feature is designed for those who are proficient at C++ and/or may need to customize the code to meet the application-specific needs. It also enables neural networks to be deployed on non-Windows platforms such as Unix with the addition of the source code license. Generated ANSI C++ code can include the code needed to train or retune the network weights. However, applications often only require a fixed set of weights obtained from a NeuroSolutions training session. In other words, the application simply needs a recall-only network that will provide the network outputs when given a new set of inputs. We will outline the basic steps needed to generate this code. By default, the code generated by NeuroSolutions will read the input data from a file and write the output data to a file. We will use this as our basic example. First, I've created and trained a simple multi-layer perceptron network based on our sample data. Next, using the testing wizard, I'm going to run through a test set through the network to obtain the network outputs and save this information to a file. I'm going to set these aside so that we can use them later on to compare the outputs of the generated code to that of NeuroSolutions. Now that we have results to compare to, let's set up the breadboard to generate the source code. First, right-click on the input file component and choose Properties to view the file inspector. Next, click on the Access tab. We want to uncheck the normalized data file and check the generated code normalizes the data. This will allow you to use your original data as an input instead of having to pre-normalize it. Next, left click on the desired file component, click on the Access tab, and we're going to mark the same options. Uncheck normalize the data file and check generate code normalizes the data file. Now that we have the input information set up, let's take a look at generating the source code. Left click on the static control component, which looks like the two orange dials in the upper left hand corner of your breadboard. The static control tab should actually be the default tab that opens up, but if it's not, go ahead and click on the static tab. Next, we want to change the active data set to testing. Click on the Code tab. NeuroSolutions should automatically detect the latest compiler version installed on your machine. If you do not have a licensed compiler installed, you will not be able to proceed on with this demonstration. If you do, simply click the New button, provide a name or leave the default, press Save. Next, click the Compile button, and as soon as the Run option is available, you can select it. This will run the generated program which feeds the data from the input file.ascii into the recall network and writes the network output to the active output probe.ascii file. So press any key to continue. Now we can compare the outputs between the generated code and NeuroSolutions to verify that the results match. To do so, I'm going to bring up the outputs file that I originally saved, and then I'm also going to bring up the active output probe.ascii file that the source code program generated. As you can see, the actual outputs match that of the generated source code, with the exception, of course, as the source code file generated the scientific notation form. To run a new testing set through, either change the code to read from a different file or edit the input file.ascii file to include the new data. We thank you for taking the time to view our NeuroSolutions tip box on generating C++ source code. For more information on NeuroSolutions, please visit our website at www.neurosolutions.com.